Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Unfairly back here with some more Marathon PvP content. Today, we're going to be switching gears and getting into a new type of video to show really how to get better loot and loadouts for your runs. I've seen a ton of general discourse in my comments and social media about a general struggle of finding higher tier loot and getting those higher tier loadouts, and just the general struggle of running combat with a lower tier loadout. So we're going to be getting into 3 methods today that I use myself to get better gear, just to utilize in the runs, and better valuables to sell and update my codex, just to keep the liquidity strong, keep the runs going, and keep the time in the shop and struggling to sell stuff to a minimum. These are all going to be things, importantly, that you can do as a solo, so it's not like something that you're time gated for or waiting for a trio. These are something that you can just run over and over again, back to back, until you get what you desire. So we're going to get right into that. I just want to take care of some quick housekeeping stuff at first. As you may have heard, the first marathon tournament has been announced. This is going to be the Tau Ceti Cup. That's tomorrow, March 14th at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. This is going to be something that has a ton of high-tier players and content creators, big names, Burnt Peanut, Symphony, Aztec Cross, Shroud, amongst others. They're going to also give you guys really nice drops on Twitch. So I'm going to be hosting this watch party again at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. I'll be giving you guys the normal combat insights, answering questions, hanging out, and giving out these drops. So come by at 2 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow. My name is Unfairly2 on Twitch, and I'll be hanging out all day, giving you guys the usual stuff that you see on the videos, but it's just going to be live in the moment. So it should be fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. And as always, if you guys ever need any clip review, coaching, questions, or need a community looking for group, you can join the Marathon Masterclass Discord. Link is in the bio and in the description. We have just about 300 members strong, which I can't thank you guys enough for, and we're always having a great time in there and interacting with each other. So stop on by if you feel like it. So let's get into it here. The first is going to be the key template method. So it's something that you unlock from the SIAC upgrades, and you need to be level 16 for it. You'll see it right here. It allows you to get a deluxe, purchase a deluxe key template from the store, and it's just requires rank 16 and 4,000 credits to get this perk. So you're going to see we're going to purchase it. It's going to give us one for free off the rip. You can see as you progress, it'll go up to a higher tier key template. So what happens with the key templates is that it's going to give us one for free, and you'll see the description. So the key template contains the data storage required to create a deluxe key. So what you have to do is you need to take this template. It's not actually a key yet. You need to take this into a run and then exfil with this key template successfully, and it will become a real key that you can use in the next run. So these runs, when you're running a deluxe key or any sort of template, you want to play super safe and kind of ratty and hide, and you really want to try to take the first exfil that you can to get this out, because as you can see, it is in a fragile status. So upon down but not out, so if you get downed, this item immediately gets destroyed and removed from your inventory. Even if you get revived, just the fact that you went down is going to destroy the key template. And so we have the loadout already. We're going to kind of consider what we should take. We're putting away the sniper rifle. We're taking out a shotgun, keeping it really close quarters, just because I know that I'm going to be hiding, ratting somewhere. So you'll see we fast forward to the run where I have the key template in my inventory. You can see the time. It's very early in the game. We got to an extract basically as soon as it spawned, and I was able to secure it. And so again, you're going to want to, once you get in the game at 25 minutes, you're going to want to find really the safest spot that you can hide until the 20-minute marker when all the exfils come up. And you'll obviously choose the safest one in your perspective, and you will go kind of the longest, slowest, most protected route to get there, just to, again, ensure that you don't go down somehow and the key gets destroyed, because the keys actually are quite expensive in terms of cash, and they require a few rare items that are just essentially salvage. They're kind of hard to find. I've been trying to find more of them. I've really only found a couple in my games yesterday and today. So you can see right there, as soon as we get out, of the run, it becomes a real key. So it's no longer a template, it's no longer fragile, it's just a key. It starts to give you finally the information, the map of where it is, the location of where it is, and it'll tell you, of course, that once you use it, the key is going to go away, just because you can't have unlimited keys, of course. So now that we've showed you how to get the actual key, we're going to show you what they actually look like. This is a different key, you'll see. Again, it shows you the region, shows you the map, the area of it. So you get to these rooms with the locked doors, and you'll see just a massive amount of loot here. You can only imagine that. I'm running this with a trio just kind of to be safer, but if you run this as a solo, which I have many times, this is an incredible amount of loot to take in as a solo. So you might want to ensure that you have the best backpack that you can, especially when you know that you're going to be doing these key runs. So again, I mean, there's a ton of weapons gear. There's a lot of those valuables and salvage that you can also take just to sell for liquidity. It doesn't always have to be a weapon. Of course, they are. All the loot is RNG, but at least when you get into these rooms, you're rolling on the higher tier loot tables, so you have at least the chance to get them here. And you'll see, even though this is kind of like a lesser tier room, we still get snipers, blue shields, things that are going to kind of qualify for those quote-unquote higher tier, higher mid-tier loadouts that you'll have a ton more success with. So here again, you'll see a different room. There's different ones on all of the maps, multiple on each map. This one's the Algae Pond's office. Again, shows you the map, the location. Sometimes it really won't show you what it is, but you'll kind of know it from passing it a few times. So this is the second one. This is a kind of a better one. You'll see that these have what I like to call the pillboxes, or like the AirPod Pro holders. These are the things that have really the best and the highest tier loot in my experience, as well as these, of course, these weapon lockers. So I kind of just try to give you guys a look around, see what the amount of the loot is per room. Sometimes they change very drastically. Sometimes they're more what's the word? They're more, I guess, intense, so there will be less amount of boxes, but there will be better loot. Sometimes there will be a ton of boxes and not a lot of loot. But either way, again, these are things that you guys can take with you, weapons, gear, or valuables that you can just go ahead and sell. So here's the next method. This is going to be the lockdown, where essentially a whole point of interest on a map is going to be locked out. So you can see it kind of happening here. This only happens on Dire Marsh at this very moment. So the whole POI kind of gets encased in this red aura, and it damages you severely. So it's not something you can go in without any sort of enhancement. But you'll see, we have a certain item called an antivirus kit, which will spawn this kind of gray bar here will turn yellow, and it'll kind of give us an overshield against that specific effect and allow us to get into the lockdown POI, so we can find the switch to turn off the force field and start the looting process. So here you can see we have the antivirus pack. It adds a buffer against hostile data corruption, so we're going to use that here right before we go in. And you'll see down here, it has this large orange bar, which is ticking down. It's giving us, again, that overshield to protect us while we're doing what we need to do inside here. And so what happens is when you start the first one, it's going to give you essentially key cards to do the next two subsequent ones. There's 3 total in a map. They spawn essentially right after another on different POIs. And so the first one you'll see here, they always spawn in the same really place, but there's kind of these terminals inside of this locked out area. You can see my teammate just pressed it there. It'll take down the force field, and then we will activate this kind of, almost looks like an exfil with that visual light. But what it's going to do is it's going to call in about 3 or 4 waves of UESC. You'll see them spawn near it. And again, not really the hardest thing, especially as like a solo. Even if you bring in like a light machine gun or something like that, you're going to be running through these people, or even grenades. So again, you'll take down the barrier. You'll activate kind of the exfil looking portal with that light. You'll go through the couple waves, and it'll unlock and allow you to get into the special loot. So again, this is kind of one of the lower tier ones. It's not the best loot, but you can see that doing this another 2 times and 3 times total per map, you guys are going to come out of here with so much good stuff to either use or sell. And again, as a solo, if you do this, you're not sharing all of this with 3 people. You're picking and choosing the best things of what you want, and you're taking it out for your use in the future. And so again, once you get these types of things, it'll give you a key card for the next one, so you'll just repeat the steps essentially on the next one. When the POI says it's going to be locked down, which is about, I would say it's a short time, about 30 seconds after the last one ends, you'll run over there, you'll use your antivirus kit, go back in, you'll disable the shield, and then enable that kind of, like we talked about, the exfil kind of portal looking thing with the light bar, and you'll go through the waves and then get your loot, and you'll move on to the very last one, the third one, and you can just keep doing that over and over again. They're not guaranteed to have those lockout events on Dire Marsh, but they are quite common. So you can just keep running those as solos, and it's something that I found a ton of loot from, high tier loot and even cryo key cards. So this is the last method here. This is going to be the perimeter boss. There is a boss on Dire Marsh as well, but I find him a lot harder to do as a solo. So here, the boss spawns at Overflow, which is the south POI in perimeter. You can see that when you know the boss is here, there will be a few signs, such as these kind of, I guess, caution tape, virtual caution tapes across all of the doors. That'll tell you that the boss is here amongst him walking around with his big red self. My method for this is that I kind of try to clear out the map or ensure that there's the least amount of teams before I start this, because when you do shoot the boss, it tells everyone in the kill feed that the boss has been engaged in combat. So everyone knows that you're fighting that boss right now, and theoretically, you should assume that people are going to be coming from all 4 corners of the map towards you. So I ensure that there's the least amount of teams possible. You can see the clock, it's 7 minutes and 44 seconds left, and I have a ton of eliminations, so we've really cleared out the lobby, and I feel good about doing the boss protected in some way. So my method is, I don't really fight him from in the building or on the ground, which he's an absolute killer, so that's not a smart thing to do. I really go to the back south of this POI on this kind of raised mountain where I'm protected away from most UESC and the turrets. So I'm going to kind of trigger him to come towards me so I don't have to expose myself and be near the POI. What we're going to do is we're going to crack the gold shield there, and as soon as his shield is cracked, you're going to switch to your power weapon, or whatever weapon is doing the most damage per second. And you're going to try to do as much damage as you can to the boss before that shield responds. And as long as you're doing damage every so often, the shield won't respawn very fast. But if you end up having to do something like this, where you have to take out some of the supporting AIs or heal, that shield will come back. He's not going to lose or regain his base health, though. So it's just going to be the overshield that comes back. You'll still start off at the level of health that you left him at from the previous engagement. And you can see, just being up here and being protected, my back is kind of towards the edge of the map, so I don't have very much fear of not seeing a player or being flanked or any sort of AI. This is a very kind of height secure position. And so again, we're gonna be safe and heal. We know that people know that we're fighting this boss, so we're not gonna be super greedy about it. We're gonna be keeping our heals up, just ready to take a player engagement if it does happen. Sometimes he's a little annoying. You just kind of gotta keep tapping him so he can come back to you. There we go. We have the shield crack. We're switching off to the power weapon. And you'll see he's starting to smoke. So that's how you know that his base health is on the fritz. And again, really want to try to have like a power weapon like a sniper, an LMG, or a lot of grenades for once the shield's cracked. Otherwise, you'll be here all day with just your regular weapon, clip after clip. You'll go through 300 rounds. Like you see, I just run out of my bully, so I picked up an LMG that I scavenged, just knowing that I'm going to need this firepower and this ammo. He shoots out those clones, which you can kind of tell which ones are clones. They kind of act a little stupid. And bang, we're finally going to get him. We're going to be cautious again. Just taking a look, making sure no one's around. So you can see he drops a pretty good purple weapon, usually an SMG. And then he's going to drop absolutely crazy stuff. You can see the Marathon ship keycard. You can see the Prestige Valuable, which sold for something, I think it was like $10,000 or $14,000. Unbelievable. And so even though we didn't get the craziest amount of PvP loot per se, we have, well, we kind of did. We got a nice purple Burt, but we have almost like 15,000 in just valuables that we sold, and you can use those to take whatever your heart desires in the shop, whether it's heals, ammo, supporting items. You're just going to want to keep doing these over and over and over again. And sometimes the boss doesn't spawn here, just like the lockdown events don't always spawn. It's going to kind of be a 50-50. You're going to want to check out the POI, really keep a look. If you don't spawn near the POI overflow, you're going to want to keep a look at the kill feed just to see if someone else maybe engages the boss. Just so you know it's there, or, you know, mid-map or whenever you get around to it in your rotation, you just pass by the POI. Again, you look and see if those virtual kind of caution tapes are around the doors, just to know the boss is there. And then once you feel like you have a secure enough situation and point at the game, in terms of like low time, you can definitely take care of this and then get out as fast as possible. So you can see we're looking through it here. Marathon card, damage UESC helmet. Absolutely crazy stuff. That's the first, I think, prestige item that I got in this, in the real game. So it's super, super cool to see. And so relieving, really, to find all of these methods, because I'm a huge solo rat player. I don't have a consistent trio, so I always hate feeling like I'm time gated or kept from doing something until I find a trio. So having these three things just to kind of alternate and run back to back to back and fill up my loot tab is so, so helpful. And when I actually do have trios or decide to go on really good aggressive solo runs, I have every single piece of loot and that I could ever want, and all of it is backed up times like 3, so you never have any sort of gear fear, which is a real thing. Gear fear is a super real thing, and it's something that makes you play differently. You decision make differently when you have a high amount of loot on you, or if you have something that you are kind of nervous about losing. So ensuring that you run these methods over and over again until you're satisfied in terms of your vault and loadouts is so crucial, because you can run through all of that good loot that you got, and then, you know, you have a rainy day and you lose a lot of it. You can just go back to this solo grinding method, changing out the 3 methods, doing them back to back to back, and just replenishing all of your loot. I've been having such a fun time with it as a solo, and I really hope you guys will find it super useful. So again, I thank you guys so much for all of your support. Come hang out with us tomorrow at 2 p.m. on the Marathon Tau Ceti Cup on Twitch TV/Unfairly2. I'll be there doing the usual combat insights, but it's just going to be live this time. We'll get some Twitch drops and have fun. And then also take a look at the Marathon Masterclass Discord, 300 members strong, great community, always answering questions, reviewing clips, and saying hi to everybody. So thank you guys again so much for your support. Connect with me on Twitter or X, Unfairly with 2 Ys, and I'm Unfairly in the Marathon Discord. Thank you guys again.